I ain't gonna lie to you, I was an emotional wreck by an episode. I actually had to sit down for about 5 minutes just to kind of begin to even contemplate my thoughts about a whole episode because it was an emotionally heart-wrenching episode. I must say, it's probably up there with the most emotionally heart-wrenching episodes for me as a person that have to watch an anime just for some reason. I didn't in the end watch Sasaki to die because he was so freaking cool. He inadvertently let history repeat itself. He actually saved the Shinzogumi twice, and he basically inadvertently ended his life by actually protecting who he wanted to protect. He inadvertently almost became a samurai in the end, and Kondo was saying it. He goes, you might have kind of disregarded everything you might have had. You might have disregarded your entire thing in the sense of being a father and a samurai, but you still have your conventions there. You still have your convictions. You're still a samurai because you got something that we want to protect. I was kind of like, it's true. He's trying to protect the woman in a way, and I was kind of like, oh, it just makes the whole death even worse. And the whole episode was just full of sayings. I was just like, God damn it, that's so true. And I was kind of like, it made that every single scene more emotionally impactful when you realise the meaning behind all the words that people were saying in this episode. Especially Kondo. Kondo was just saying like different sayings. I was kind of like, it's true. Like when he said that everyone basically, if someone's wounded, they're not enemies anymore, because it was like basically Shinzogumi began to help Minagawami, if I'm pronouncing the name right. And yeah, they actually began to help. I was kind of like, oh, so you can see Kondo's he's an amazing person. He just is. Made him inadvertently when I saw him like on the floor and then Naraki said, oh, he's dead. I was kind of like, no. If you say he's dead right now, I swear to God, I will actually flip a table because I didn't. No, just I don't want to see him die of anyone. Like, it's just Kondo's just too cool. Sasaki was even. I just don't know. It was just too many scenes in this episode that it made your heart just break in two. It was too many just to even begin to contemplate. And since even when Katsura was saying that everyone in the end just wants to die by the people they trust, and so they want to die by the side of the people they trust, I was kind of like, don't do it, Katsura. Don't make my emotions just well up now. Just don't do it right now. But yeah, and the fact that it's just. I mean, it's a hard episode to actually begin to contemplate thoughts just for the sole reason. It's one of those episodes. And the fact that basically Sasaki said to Nobume, look, I know you're not the killer. I know that inadvertently you try to protect my family. And since I already know someone else came in before you to actually take down my family, and since you try to protect them, I was kind of like, no. No, that's kind of like, just don't do it freaking now. Just don't. Okay, just don't. Just freaking don't. Just literally don't. But yeah, inadvertently, Nobume actually didn't kill his family. Actually, it was Naraki. I was kind of like, kind of say he didn't actually see her as an enemy. He didn't see her as anything. And the fact that he even said, look, I forgot the actual promise I made years ago, it kind of just inadvertently tells you he actually was seeing her as a daughter. He wasn't seeing her as an enemy or something he was using. Yeah, he tells her, look, I was using you. You shouldn't actually try to protect me. But he was telling her, look, I know you're not the killer. Inadvertently, he was telling you that he saw her as a daughter. He saw her as the person he lost, and it's a person he could stand, like, he could protect. Since he protected her. He did his job. He did his job in the end. That something he couldn't do before, he did in the end now. It was kind of a beautiful ending when you think about it, because Sasaki actually protected Shinzogumi twice. He actually protected his family, being the Boomer in this case. And yeah, it was really, really nicely handled, because it's one of those things that you kind of have to rewatch a couple of times just to pick up on it, because it's one of those kind of subtle little things. It doesn't specifically tell you straight away that, look, he did this, but when you read into it, he actually ended the way he intended to basically go about. He ended a samurai, and Kondo actually says it. Kondo says, look, I know you've kind of thinking in yourself, you abandoned your convictions, you abandoned everything, you think you're not a samurai or a father, but actually you are. At that point he says, don't you dare say any more, because he's inadvertently thinking to himself, I can see Nobume as a daughter. I was kind of like, it just made that whole scene when he actually died even more impactful, because it ended with him kind of cycling through names and basically him not being able to pick a name out. It showed how indecisive a character he is, because it showed loads of paper on the floor and him just trying to figure out one name he wanted for. And in the end, he gave it to Nobume, and Nobume basically means faith girl, I think it means. And yeah, it was a hard episode. And then when Toshi kind of might inadvertently realize that Kondo was dead, you saw in his eyes that his world was destroying inside. So his whole world was practically ending, since he realized that, look, Kondo's dead. I was welling up. I was like, you can't just kill Kondo after that point. And then Gintoki basically becoming Kondo in a way and saying, rise up, Shinigami and fight. And then basically it cut to his face and it kind of changed to Kondo. It's kind of like, it's a subtle way of telling you that he's basically kind of saying, rise up and don't give up right now. Keep going and fight. And then when Kondo inadvertently actually got up, and then it made that one scene when Oboro just got hit. And I was just like, when Toshi and Kondo actually hit Oboro, and it's kind of like, oh god, it's so satisfying. I was kind of like, you became Noburo finally. I was like, thank you God, you gave me one good thing on the Wednesday, my final day of college. You actually given me the fact that Oboro might become Noburo. But Utsuro, no, that one blast, I was like, and I saw his face, I was like, just don't, just get out, just vacate the universe, just leave, just stop being who you are, just get out. The fact that even at the beginning that Gintoki basically kind of shook up what he was looking at. He couldn't really think straight. He saw his teacher and he realized actually it's not him. He's kind of being shook up about it. You kind of saw it in his eyes and the way he was speaking. He didn't have a normal tone. He was shouting. He was kind of in fear. Like he saw someone he originally knew as someone else. It kind of just inadvertently told you, like, he's kind of scared right now. It was just, I must say, in actual hindsight, it was a beautiful episode. Yes, it made me cry like a little baby, and I was in floods of tears. Like I was. It was one of those most really, I would say probably one of the most emotionally impactful episodes of Gintama this whole entire 50 episodes. I must say. In fact, it's ending next week. It's kind of making me even destroyed inside a little bit more. It's kind of almost like crying at that point. I realised it's ending next week. It's just, oh man. This episode was beautifully handled. For the subtlety of the episode itself was amazing. I loved it. Subtlety was probably one of the greatest things in this anime. It's subtle in some things it's trying to tell you, because it's one of those things that sometimes it doesn't tell you specifically, look, this is it. It kind of inadvertently tells you, like, it's one of those things you got to pick up if you're paying attention before, in a sense, the whole idea that Sasaki actually helped out. His final email was actually help the Shinsengumi, so don't leave them, help the Shinsengumi. It's kind of like, so inadvertently he actually kind of history repeats itself twice. He didn't let the Shinsengumi die twice. I was kind of like, he's an amazing character. Why did he have to go and die now? Why did he die? Just stop, Gintama. Stop killing off my good characters. I should be hating, but I love them. Just, oh man. But yeah. So that was an episode and a half. Nobody may basically cried. Just made me go, don't stop, Wafu. Just stop it. Look, just stop it. I don't need to see you cry. It's just the fact that it's just, you're my enemy. Like, I'm your enemy. Just stop. And he's basically saying, are you though? And it's kind of like, oh no. Nah, fam, just don't do this to me now. I was just like, I went into this episode like, oh, I'm not prepared. I really am not prepared for this episode. I walked out of it saying, I wasn't prepared. I really wasn't. I was prepared for how many feels I was going to get by the end of the episode. It's kind of like, it was just the fact that Kondo might have died, but then he actually used the thing that actually he was using back in the beginning of the arc. And that kind of makes him like a state of animation, so that he's not kind of alive, but he is. Same thing's happened, like, I think they use it in like kind of war zones here nowadays and before in like the Cold War. It's kind of like, oh, so he actually did use it in the end and actually did work, and since it actually made everyone realize he was dead, but actually he wasn't. It's kind of like, at least he didn't die. It was kind of like, if he did die, it's kind of like, no. I would have probably just flipped tables and walked into Japan and be like, no, just write him back alive. Just stop. Stop right now, write him back alive. But anyway, so that was a beautiful episode. Probably, I would say probably one of the best, if not the best, in my opinion. I love it to bits. It was subtlety. It had subtlety. It was beautiful. It was beautifully presented. The soundtrack was amazing. Every single scene just culminated the soundtrack. Gintoki was babe as always. It's where I can go freaking do one. I'm like, Oboro became Noburo. I was like, thank you. It's like, I was happy. I was so happy. But yeah, so I was realised as weeks go on, my Gintama reviews get longer. So with Let's Hear Him Driver, if you leave a like, do leave a like. It's quite a bit. If you leave a sub, do leave a sub. It's quite a bit. With all Let's Hear Him Driver, and I'll see you later. Bye for now.